Welcome back. Well, let's now venture into precious metals with a focus on gold. Brian Chu is the founder of the Australian Gold Fund. He joins us again now. Brian, welcome back. It's been a while since we've had a chat, and well, lo and behold, gold is on the move again. Some of this prompted by comments from Donald Trump, but also obviously with the prospect of a rate cut in the States building. How supportive has that been for gold?
Well, it's been very interesting because for much of August, gold actually pulled back somewhat to almost, I think, just below 3,300 US dollars an ounce at one time. And then we had also the inflation data, which initially pulled gold down even further before it actually started bouncing up because the talk started shifting towards a potential for the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates in this month's meeting in about 2 weeks' time. We also had a major development with potentially the removal of the Federal Reserve Governor, Lisa Cook, which could open the Federal Open Market Committee to a majority of Trump-elected governors. And that actually pushed the price of gold up to over 3,400 US dollars an ounce late last week. And right now, as we talk, it's 34.80, I think it is. Now, I also talked about how silver, the key level that I was looking for was 40 US dollars an ounce. And we just saw that today. Quite timely for us to have this conversation. And gold stocks are up. The ASX Gold Index is up 700 points. We haven't seen that type of move for a while. And some of these leading gold producers are up by 10% on a daily basis. The graph, of course, you can see that was a little bit a while back, but just how quickly things move, how much can happen in a space of a week. We're watching this happen right now.
All right. Do you feel as though this has legs? Because, of course, we had that correction, particularly with what you're looking at there in the ASX Gold Index that began back in June. What trends are you seeing there on the chart now?
So, having talked about this in our previous discussions, I thought that it was healthy for the pullback for gold producers to pull back to about 11,000 points, and for us to see how these companies performed in the June quarter. The price of oil remains in the 60 to 65 US dollars a barrel region, while gold's now heading up. And therefore, the gold to oil ratio, how many barrels of oil 1 ounce of gold produces, that's above 53 now. And I think having seen these producers deliver pretty solid results, and the all-in sustaining costs of many of these producers didn't go up by too much, we had a bonanza June quarter, which I think supported the fundamentals of these companies for the ASX Gold Index to rise further. So I believe, are we going to see 15,000 points for the ASX Gold Index? I would say if we break above that, that would definitely bring in a lot more buying interest from the general market, notwithstanding that silver's already above 40. My strategy, of course, is still on not becoming greedy when everyone else is. And that's why at this time, I have added recently to some of my gold producers, but more the mid-tiers. Whereas for the larger producers that are currently charging towards a finishing line, I think we've been trimming down on our profits. We've been trimming down our holdings a little bit just to take more profits, since we paid probably like a third of the price for them 3 years ago.
So how do you look at those gold stock valuations at the moment? And you spoke to us earlier, a couple of months ago, about your strategy of taking profits when you were near the top. So clearly, I guess you're now looking perhaps to get back in at those lower levels.
Yep. So I bought some in the pullback, in the correction that we had in August, But am I coming back to companies like Northern Star, Evolution Mining, Genesis Minerals, and Perseus Mining? At the moment, probably not, because these companies have delivered strong performance, but the only reason why I would pay more for those is if they can show evidence that they are growing their production. For Northern Star, we have to wait for another 2 years, perhaps, for the Hemi mine to actually start producing. For Perseus Mining, they are going to build, I think, at Tanzania. Whereas with Genesis Minerals, they recently bought the Laverton deposits from Focus Minerals. That would add to their ore stock feed at Laverton. That will still take a little bit of time. Whereas for companies that are in near term going to increase production, like Pantoro Gold or Abandon Mining, Alkane Resources, which recently absorbed Mandalay Resources, these companies have been interesting, and Alkane Resources have actually rallied almost 50% in the past month. So those were the companies I focused on. And then, of course, there are the smaller end of town, the explorers and the early stage developers. Some of these are now gaining traction, and I'm looking forward to see which of these companies will follow the gold producers and the late stage developers to also charge out the gates. I've added some of the holdings on these companies in the past month. I've also suggested my newsletter readers to do the same. A few of them have actually started to move. Kingsgate Consolidated has done pretty well. And James Bay Minerals, a company with both lithium and high-grade gold deposits over in Nova Scotia, that's also made a pretty good move. So we are still advocating careful stock selection rather than simple broad brush buying.
But to be clear, so you're not in the large cap producers, it's the mid-tier where you're looking at the moment then?
Yes, that's correct, Andrew, because I expect that the large cap producers to continue to rise, but that will probably move into what I would call bubble territory. I'm not saying that to disparage the companies. I'm merely pointing out the enthusiasm from the market is going to mean the funds flow into those companies first, and they've been going there for 2.5, almost 3 years. The party is well and truly happening there, and the party is only getting started in the smaller end of town. So that's where my funds are going to go to maximize the potential gains.
What do you think at the very sort of bottom end with the explorers and potentially into those developers? Are you seeing traction there now then?
There is only very select traction. So I think about a third of these companies, probably about 30 of them, because there's almost 100 explorers and early stage developers on the ASX. A third of them have actually taken off. So I can name quite a few of these companies like Barton Gold Holdings. We have also Southern Cross Gold Consolidated, Gorilla Gold, Medallion Metals, Dateline Resources. Those have really just, you could say, shot the lights out. Whereas still a large proportion of them, the daily trading volume is a smattering, maybe a few $1,000s, tens of thousands of dollars worth of trading. Now, some of these companies have good quality assets, but few people are still yet to pay attention to it because I think there's just so much action in tech stocks, in uranium, recently lithium and rare earths. And you need to do a bit of a deep diving to go and identify the value. And you might have to sit there just like I have for a year or two, but now I think the time horizon is definitely narrowed. It could be a matter of 2 to 3 months before 1 or 2 days of 10-15% moves is going to light the fuse, and then people are going to start chasing it. And which company is coming next? It is a coin toss.
Brian, great to get across what you are seeing in the gold sector. Thanks for joining us in the Australian Gold Fund.
Thanks a lot, Andrew, and God bless.
Thank you for watching my interview with Ausbiz. To learn more about our work, visit the Australian Gold Fund website. Also, check out GoldHub Australia for live precious metals price quotes and insights. You can also sign up for our regular updates. And don't forget to visit the Ausbiz website. All our links are in the description. Please leave your comments and thoughts on where gold, silver, and the US dollar are heading below. Thank you very much. God bless.